Hi, this is a tutorial on how to use MaestraNova to um, process your NMR after you collect it with the spectrometer. So after you've run uh, the NMR on PNMR and did ZG and save it to the appropriate um, disk, if you open up MNova and open up that file, the proton NMR, this is what you will get. So I'm just going to go through the basic processing procedure for this raw data. So you can see right away that the baseline has these edges that sort of dips down. We're going to clean that up as well as fix the the baseline so that it's flat. It actually looks pretty good anyway, but let's go ahead and do that. You start by typing in the letter B, and when you do that, you get this menu called baseline correction. It's a polynomial order. Usually 3 is good enough, and then just click on, and you can see the blue line here, and it kind of shows you how the baseline is going to be corrected. I usually stick with, for proton NMR, 1 or 3 is fine. Okay, so there it is. The next command would be W, and that's the apodization uh, processor. This is what a routine will do when the FID is truncated, and it eliminates the some of the noise. So what you want to do is you want to play around with these functions and see how the NMR spectrum looks as you change these. That's exponential, and of course you can always change the number here to clean it up. Okay, the higher the number, the less the resolution. Let's see if I can't change this to 0.5, and you can see right away that you see the fine structure. Let's go with Gaussian just so that you can see the difference. Okay, or the sine bell, or the sine square. What exactly are these functions doing? Now, if you click right here, it'll actually show the FID and how these functions are changing the FID. So let's click on exponential, and so that's basically how these functions are massaging the FID, and the result is the spectrum that looks like this. Okay, let's take this out. Let's change it to a Gaussian. The Gaussian looks like this, and you can see again the changes in the NMR spectrum. Remove the exponential. Let's check the sine. It looks like this, and that's not a very good fit. The square sine looks like this, and so you can just play around until there's a spectrum that looks somewhat better than what you have right here. So I'm going to go with exponential, and I'm going to go with 0.5. Okay, and I'm going to click on OK. Let me go ahead and get rid of this right here. The next thing you want to do is you want to clean this baseline so that it's not rolling so much. So the command for that is Shift P, and this right here is a bar that pivots. When you do the phasing, it pivots around that bar. So you can move the bar, the blue bar, by moving this right here. I'll move it somewhere in the middle, and then with your mouse button you can click on your left mouse and then drag it up and down, and then you can click on your right mouse and drag it up and down. And what I'm looking for is the peaks being symmetric along the baseline. That's what I'm trying to do when I do the baseline correct. correction. Okay, sometimes you actually get a spectrum that's inverted that looks like this. Okay, so it looks upside down, and the way you correct that is through the baseline correction, and you just have to play around with that. Now, if it gets to the point where you've just messed things up, just quit the program and start from scratch again. Okay, so if you hold on the, in this particular case, I'm using a Mac. I hold on the command key. I can do fine tuning on the baseline correction. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me. I'm going to go ahead and close this, and that will be my spectrum. Now, you can see that there's a big signal here, and that actually is from your compound. That's not TMS. I think I told a bunch of you that looked like TMS just because I didn't see this signal down here. I wasn't looking for it, and I assumed that there was too much TMS when you added the TMS. But this signal right down here is actually TMS. So let me go ahead and assign that to TMS. So by typing L, you get this reference menu, and I'm just going to click on 0, and that'll assign this signal right here is 0 ppm. Oops, let me try that again. Here, I gotta get that crossbar 0, and now it's assigned in at 0 ppm. Now you can see the singlet right here. It's actually a methyl group because it's about to. Methyl group shows up about between 1 and 3 ppm. Okay, the spectrum looks good in terms of the baseline and the resolution. When I go ahead and zoom in, okay, zoom in, and I'm going to zoom in between 10 and probably negative 0.5 ppm, and I can do that by typing Z, and you get this menu. Then I'm just going to, you can see in the box, the blue box, as I move my mouse around, that's 10.0019, and I just hold my left mouse button down, then I'll drag it, and I'll drag it to about maybe 0.5. That way you can see that TMS is at the 0 mark, and then release, and automatically the spectrum will blow up in that region. Now if I type F, it goes back to full. If I type P, I can actually pan. Let me go back to zoom right here. Okay, P, I can pan left and right. So those are the quick commands that I ask you guys to memorize, just because it's so much easier when you have the menu commands at your fingertips as opposed to going up here and finding that command via these icons. But of course, if you prefer to do that, then go ahead and do so. Let me go ahead and do full and zoom in between, again, 10 ppm, and remember ppm stands for parts per million, and negative 5. Okay, so it looks like we're pretty set to go. The next thing I want to do is I could probably integrate this, or I can do a pick peaks. So let me go ahead and do the integration first, and then I'll do a pick peaks. So the way you do the integration is you just type the letter I, and then if you want to integrate the whole spectrum, just click here. Okay, place your mouse at the flat part of the baseline, and then just drag it all the way to the right edge of your rightmost signal, and then it'll do the integration for you. And if you hit return or escape, sorry, then you can take this, and then you can just drag this window down and drag this up. Now it's sort of tilting, and I believe there's a way to fix that tilt, and that's because of the baseline. This curvature on the integration is probably because there's the baseline down here sort of rolling, and you can see that if I change the intensity. So the best way to do the integration is actually integration by parts. To integrate by parts, I'm going to always point my mouse cursor at the flattest part of the baseline. That way I'm capturing the area for the signal that I'm integrating completely. And so I'll just click here, type I, click here and stop here. That'll be 1. I'm going to click here and stop here. That's 2. I'm going to click here and stop here. That's 3. Click here and stop here. That's 4. Here, stop here. That's 5. Finally, this right here. Okay, so this is the integration. And again, I'm just going to lower the intensity of the spectrum by dragging my mouse button up or down, or using the roller on my mouse to give it a higher intensity or lower intensity, or do the plus or negative keys on your keyboard. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit return, escape that is, so that I can keep this integration. I'm going to lower these right here, and then I'm just going to click on one of these integration, and you notice they all move in unison. I'm going to place the bottom of this integration curve in one of the bottom of the grid, and then I'm going to move, say, this right here, because I know this is a methyl signal. So I'm going to move it, and I'm going to move it to 6 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because I have a feeling there are 2 methyl groups here. So that's what it looks like, and of course I can adjust this so that it looks that way. So this now integrates for, in the bottom here, it integrates for 3 to 1 to 1.14. That signal, it's probably NH, but you can't really trust the integration of a hydrogen on the nitrogen because it'll relax too fast. What you could do is, if you really want to integrate that truly, is have a longer relaxation delay. We only had a 3 seconds relaxation delay, and so that's probably why that doesn't integrate very accurately. This is 5 and 2. Now we can change this integration by just clicking here, and if I click on that, so that integrates for 6, again I just double click there and then I hit return. Now I have that. So I'm pretty much finished. All I gotta do is pick my peaks. I type K, and then I'm just going to do this right here, and now the integration should show right there. I'm ready to print this out, and actually I want to save it as a PDF. Export to PDF, and then just save it as a Chem 233 1H NMR. Okay, and that'll be as a PDF file. I'm going to save it on my desktop and then save. And that's it. This is a spectrum that certainly looks pretty clean. Thanks for listening.